Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
How are you, buckaroo?
Man, I'm great. We had such a fantastic weekend at Cyphacon 2019, and just let me say out of the gate, big thanks to Garrett Manuel, Stuart Griggs, and the staff and volunteers over there. They did a great job. We had a wonderful time. And we got to hang out with some really cool folks.
We did at that. All right, well, let's lay out the show. We'll start off the show as we always do with top nerd news, followed by Brian's favorite segment with Skungy and his pick of the week. But then we got another interview that we scored over in Cyphacon.
We did, yes. I got to sit down with Bruce Boxleitner. Oh, my God, it's so awesome. Yes, he's such a gracious man and such an exemplar of the leading man that it was cool to be able to just kind of talk shop with him.
What did he do? Just so the listeners know.
He was in Scarecrow and Mrs. King way back in the day.
Oh my
he was,
God.
Yes, I know. Captain John Sheridan in your favorite Babylon 5.
Oh, yay!
And he's currently the president in Supergirl.
Get out.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Right, yes.
I'm so behind on CW shows.
And, of course, we'll close it out as we always do with This Week in Geek History.
But first... And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, Brian, what's topping us off tonight?
Well, tonight I hope folks really like Star Wars because with Star Wars Celebration happening in Chicago this weekend, we have a ton of Star Wars news.
And they had a guy dressed up as a cubby Mandalorian.
A cubby Mandalorian?
Like Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, I did see
he
that.
had the Chicago Cubs logo on and everything. It was awesome.
I like the George Lucas in the slave Leia outfit.
With Darth Mickey.
Yes.
That was a thing of beauty.
That was. All right, so I guess we have to start off talking about the trailer.
That dropped Friday at about 3 o'clock? No, 1 o'clock, 1:30, somewhere around there.
Which also gives us the name of Episode 9, which is The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, so here, take a listen.
All we know.
Well, let's try that again.
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
That's Lando.
Yes.
We'll always be with you. No one's ever really gone.
Goosebumps. Again, I got goosebumps, Brian. Jesus. Get some goosebumps. The Emperor's the best.
So wait, is that the world's greatest hide-and-seek champion from 1983 to 2019?
No. He's been around. He hasn't been hiding. He's in the spirit realm, okay? Look, this is where it all comes down to. A couple of things. Like somebody posited the theory that Rey might be a Skywalker because of this Rise of the Skywalker crap. I think the tagline is ridiculously stupid. It makes zero sense to me now. Maybe it will make sense later, but somebody posited the theory that Palpatine might have been behind the midichlorians that made Anakin, and that perhaps he made the midichlorian thing again to make Rey.
Well,
That's pretty stupid, huh?
That is kind of goofy because they made such a big deal about her being a nobody, right? And are we talking about the Rise of Skywalker as in the Skywalker legacy or something?
And that's what I'm confused about. This is supposed to be the wrapping up, the end of the Skywalker saga. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the tagline, but Lando makes his return.
Right,
and
he gets the Falcon back, apparently.
He does. I like that. I can do without the Han Solo movie, I just said, it's funny because somebody was like, oh, look, he's wearing the same clothes he was in Solo. I'm like, yay, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't need space capes. I'm good without space capes.
Oh, come on. He makes a space cape look good.
Yeah, but he also sleeps with robots.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I'm a speciesist, I guess. I don't know. But But then there's that one scene where it's like nobody ever really leaves, but they're on this shoreline and they're looking at, looks like a wreck of some sort. Do you know what that is?
No.
They're on Yavin 4.
Really?
That's what's left over of the Death Star.
Oh, wow.
Is it Yavin 4? Yeah. When the Death that was
the first Death Star.
One. Yeah, the first one.
Okay.
Now somebody else said it was 2, so maybe they're on Endor, but I don't remember Endor having that giant ass oceans. But of course, all we saw was the redwood forest in California for Endor.
Well, Endor is supposed to be a forest planet, so
right.
Maybe they are on Yavin. Yeah.
But that's the thing is that all right. If you look at Clone Wars 2, they brought back Force ghosts for the Sith, though. Darth Bane and Yoda went toe-to-toe.
Right.
And so that's the only way you can bring back Palpatine. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit where it might be a clone or something like that because he cloned himself, but that's in the air quotes legends now because it's no longer canon. It was in the Dark Horse comics and stuff. So if you look what's going on now and what's currently canon, Clone Wars is.
Yeah.
And so, Palpatine could come back as a Force ghost, but not the blue shiny ones, but like burning embers and black and smoke. That would be kick ass.
That would be kind of interesting.
Except as long as they don't say his first name. Remember his first name?
No.
Sheev Palpatine.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Dumbass.
Well,
Sheev Palpatine.
George Lucas has a penchant for weird names.
Oh, God, he's like, it sounds spacey. All
well,
right.
like I liked the trailer, I enjoyed it, but what got me more excited was when I saw the trailer for The Mandalorian today.
So, all right, now this one's a little bit longer. It's a minute 44, but I think it's worth our time because this you won't find anywhere on the internet right now.
Yeah.
It's probably been taken down as you're listening to this. So this was the stuff that was not streamed through the celebration.
Right.
Somebody out there with a cell phone
captured this.
God bless you, ma'am or sir.
What we're bringing to the screen for the first time is a live-action Star Wars series. It takes place about 5 years after the Return of the Jedi.
The series follows a Mandalorian.
This new character is a gunfighter, a bounty hunter, a citizen of the underworld on the outer reaches of the galaxy. It starts off with him just hunting down quarries, making his money. This is a character you've never met before, in a period of time that you've never seen.
There's just an aesthetic to the Mandalorian that is extremely powerful, mysterious. This armor that harkens to medieval knights. He's relatable. We're all kind of covered in our own armor.
So lame.
This series offers the opportunity to introduce new planets, new races and species, new starships. However, we wanted to feel completely connected and familiar.
It's truly an adventure, a Star Wars adventure.
It has the heart that Star Wars has always been about.
It will feel gritty, it will feel real.
But anybody could sit down in their seat and watch and enjoy.
Dun, dun, dun. I think that's it. I think I'm just letting the music build up to crescendo.
So,
yeah.
What got me most excited about this is, for me, it evoked the same feelings that I got from Rogue One, right? Where you've got this, Star Wars, you understand the universe, and yet here's this new sort of setting with all these new characters. We're not going to have space wizards out there dominating everything, and we're going to see, what?
Space wizards.
Yeah, come on. That's what Jedi are.
I know. It's just okay.
Crazy old hermits living out in the desert,
I'm a crate dragon. Caw-caw,
right.
caw-caw.
Running off with fool adventures with young farm boys. Oh, wow. That could be a whole different story.
I know, huh?
But anyway, no. But
I really like you. Jesus God.
Oh, we're a little punch
Space
drunk.
Wizards,
Yes.
I know, huh? All right.
So, but no, when I saw Rogue One, it was so good,
Yes.
you know, and it felt new.
And they said, Favreau even said it's like a little dark, a little more gritty, and not in the bad way like DC movies.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like I think a lot of us agree that the oh my God, had that World War II feel to it,
Yeah.
you know? And so this one, might have that cool Western-y,
It is clearly going to be a Western.
right, which was technically what Star Wars was. It was a Western in space. I mean, that's kind of like that. That's how he sold it to some people.
Right, yeah, with World War II dogfighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, The Mandalorian looks really good, and that's coming out like November 21st, maybe, I think is what they're hinting at right now.
Well, and actually, that's a good segue into
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order?
No, we come back to that. On November 12th, 2019 is when Disney Plus streaming service drops.
Oh, we're not doing This Week in Geek History?
No.
Oh, you said a date. I got confused. I wanted to play the button.
You're right. No, so
Wait, say that again.
on November 12th, 2019 is when the Disney Plus streaming service drops, and I know that you were especially excited because the introductory rate
Because I am right! No, say it, Brian!
No, wait,
Say
hold on.
it.
Hold on.
Say
I'll
it.
get there. $6.99 a month or $70 for an annual subscription. You'll
That's
save
awesome, man.
$14, and I know you're cheap.
Yes.
So this is half the price of Netflix.
Yes.
All right. Now, what Dave is referring to, and he wants me to say, is that when last we had Mr. Ted Wally on here, Ted and I put $1 against Dave's dollar that this would be a tiered service and that only family-friendly stuff. Well, you have family-friendly, you'd have adult content in different tiers. So far, we're not seeing that, and more than likely, we're going to see the adult content from Disney head on over to Hulu since they own like 70% of it or something like that. So, which kind of...
So say it.
Well, I mean, that kind of makes Ted and I right to a degree.
No,
because
it
they
doesn't.
are
Not even close.
Having different
you
tiers.
You are a lying sack of poop.
I'll give you $1. I'll give you $1.
I win.
Oh, I hate that sounder. But no, so yes, and of course, The Mandalorian will be on Disney Plus. And
Dude, they got so much stuff that's on there for $6.99. Like when the news broke, because I mean, like I'm the APD for our news talker and the sports station, so I'm always looking at the news. And when the news broke, the media group that was covering it, they literally gasped. Like one of the reporters was like, I haven't heard a reporter, someone covering a news, story, actually gasp. And apparently the whole press corps gasped because it's such a crazy low rate.
Right.
But they're coming late to the market. You've already got Hulu and you've got Netflix and Amazon.
CBS All Access.
Stupid CBS All Access. Don't get me started.
Right.
But everybody and their brother has a platform.
Yeah.
And Disney is coming out with content that is going to fly off the shelves. People
Absolutely.
are already going, take my money, but they're going, you know what? Yes, we will take your money, but first have some free crack, and they're going to sell it to you for $6.99.
Right.
And it's just awesome.
Just for our listeners outside of the continental United States, you'll get this service sometime within the next 2 years. The plans haven't been affirmed yet, but they want to cover all major regions of the world.
Well, eventually, look, we haven't even gotten to this, but Timothy Zahn was talking about the Thrawn books and all that stuff. He was actually saying he's signed 2 non-disclosure agreements. Timothy Zahn, who wrote the Thrawn series, they brought him back in the Clone Wars and or Rebels, and so now he's back in canon. So they got more books coming out for him. But they wanted one of his dreams, Timothy Zahn, is to write for Doctor Who.
Really?
And right, but they don't. You have to have a British passport, and they would rather have British writers write stuff for Doctor Who. But he goes. But look, I'll just be patient and bide my time because eventually Disney will buy the BBC.
Nice.
I know. Is that correct or what?
That's cool. Well, I mean, did you want to talk anything else about Zahn and about Thrawn and all this kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, most of the stuff was just fun to me because I just love Thrawn and I love Zahn. Just some of the stuff was kind of like the books that are going to be coming out, Palian, whatever you want to call him, his Star Destroyer's Captain Palian, who he was a kick-ass character who was in the original Heir to the Empire series. He was mentioned in Rebels, which means he can be brought into canon now. And the other thing was just kind of like Thrawn versus Thanos. Who would win? And Thrawn would probably be somebody who wouldn't unless he literally had to go toe-to-toe with Thanos, he probably just tried to recruit him and be like, you know what, you're on the right thought path, Thanos. Let's sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
And so, like, Thrawn made it into, like, the top 4 of
a bracketed supervillain showdown? Yes. Yeah, and I was just looking at that article you sent me, and apparently Thrawn beat out Lex Luthor.
Yes, he did. Because he would just find out what Lex Luthor wanted and then give it to him and then just like recruit him. Thrawn, this is the one thing that where Thrawn and the Emperor did not get along with. The Emperor would just throw lies away. Thrawn would never do that. He wanted to make use of all the assets. You would only give up stuff if he was absolutely necessary or it would ensure victory of some sort.
Cool. All right.
So,
well, I'm sure you're very excited about more content from Zahn.
And the other thing that dropped yesterday, and I guess, you know what, we'll go to break and we come back. We'll play the trailer for Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order because Skungy is calling in right now.
All right, that's cool.
So that is coming out, same thing, 11/15/19, so November 15th. So I guess, 3 days after Disney Plus drops.
All right, well,
this game looks awesome.
It does. All right, guys, when we get back, we're going to have Skungy and his pick of the week. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Pro Se Productions is a leading independent publisher on the cutting edge of new pulp and genre fiction today. At Pro Se Productions, you'll find fiction featuring fast-paced action and adventure, larger-than-life protagonists, over-the-top characters, and tight yet extravagant plots. Pro Se specializes in prose books, anthologies, audiobooks, and more. Go to prose-press.com to find our monthly release schedule and more info about our great titles. Pro Se Productions is your first-rate publisher of new pulp fiction today.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at W&Q's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
This is Captain Rex, troopers, and you're listening to The Week in Geek. Now move out!
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
All right, Brian, it is your favoriteest part of the show.
Yay.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Woohoo!
Skungy, what's shaking, bacon?
Not a lot, man. Just the Star Wars hype train just keeps on a-rolling.
It does. Toot, toot. So before we went to break, we were talking all about Star Wars Celebration, and we had another trailer drop. Now, this is for Star Wars Jedi, The Fallen Order. It's about a minute and a half. So here, take a look, because I don't know who this character is, this kid yet, because I haven't done enough research on it, because it just kind of dropped the other day.
Yeah.
And so he's running away from right after, it's the aftermath of Order 66.
Okay.
So he's on the lam as the Empire has now killed most of the Jedi Order. He's basically a Padawan who's on the lam. So here's the trailer.
All right.
Wasn't always like this. But now, there are 3 rules to survive. Don't stand out. Accept the past. Trust no one. The galaxy's changed. Whatever you do, don't reach within. Don't stand out. Accept the past. Execute Order 66. Trust no one. Trust only in the Force.
Dude, his lightsaber looks awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, it's awesome. It's got like 2 little things on the side, like it's like a tube thing, and
Right.
dude, it's awesome.
So this looks really good.
Yes.
All right, but I have to let you know, you might not have seen this on Twitter. EA, when they released it, said no microtransactions, no loot boxes, and no, we won't be adding them. A single player Star Wars story for those of you who are ready to become a Jedi. I'd like to get Skungy's thoughts.
Yeah.
It's made by Respawn Studios. Respawn Studios are the guys who did Titanfall 1 and 2. They're also, these were the guys who did the good Call of Duties, Modern Warfare 1 and 2.
Okay, right. Those are good ones.
Those are the good Call of Duty. So they really know how to make a cinematic experience. I mean, Titanfall 2 was it was such a great game. And even though it was mainly multiplayer, the single player had this very dynamic cinematic kind of feel to it. So I've got hope.
All right.
It also it reminds me of like the Force Unleashed, except now it's a good guy.
Yeah.
As opposed to, Star Killer.
So
Star Killer, you could have been good if you wanted.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, it gives you, before you were technically the Empire's tool, now you're running from the Empire.
So Skungy, you maybe think that because EA holds the license that maybe it's just kind of in name only?
Disney apparently is very upset with EA in their handling of the license, and they've actually brought, apparently LucasArts has been brought back to start making games again.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Because they're like, yeah, no, you kind of, you wet the bed on this one.
It's funny though too, because I remember seeing a meme over the weekend, and it didn't click, but it's just it's from the third one where it's like Mace Windu saying, "If this information you have brought me is true, you will have earned my trust."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it all makes sense. Makes sense.
Skungy, we don't have a lot of time. What's your pick for this week?
Well, I'm picking in vain with the Star Wars. We're going to go back to a classic review, Star Wars Battlefront II.
Dark Forces.
Not the one that
Forces.
Not the one that came out a year ago or two. No, we're talking about the one that came out like in 95.
Oh, the really good
05,
one.
05.
The really, really good one.
Yes, the really good one. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a third-person shooter that is set in the Star Wars universe. So it goes throughout all prequel and original trilogy.
Yeah, and it's Starship Combat, too. There's the same one, right?
Yeah, you could do Starship Conquest. It's got a single-player mode called Galactic Conquest, where you can basically try to take over the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Or you could go through a story mode in single-player, where you start off playing a clone trooper, and you wind up with the evolution of the Empire. You actually become part of the 501st, and, are putting your foothold on the galaxy.
Yeah.
Now, the cool thing about the reason why I'm bringing this game up.
I'm about to say, you better not be like teasing me, bro, because I will punch you through the phone.
The reason why I'm bringing this game up is because anybody who has Xbox One has an Xbox One, and if you have Xbox Gold, games with Gold, it's free this month.
Yeah! Suck it, Brian!
What?
Brian's a bitch. Yeah.
Oh man, that was pretty hurtful.
It's one of the best games made. Period. Like this is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's free. There is a downside though.
What?
But you'll be okay with it, Dave.
Okay, good.
Some people aren't. There is no multiplayer to it. It's all the single player.
That makes it even better. I hate people.
The servers don't exist for this game anymore,
awesome.
so you won't be able to play any of the multiplayer stuff, which is sad because this was a great multiplayer game.
Yeah.
This is a company that's no longer around, Pandemic. I really liked them.
I do remember them, yeah.
But like I said, it's still, I mean, number one, free is the best price.
Yes. I just used to always go with the Starship Combat, go land on the other side ship, jump out of my X-Wing or TIE Fighter or whatever it was, and I just sit on the deck shooting the guys as they're trying to get into their starships, or I'd start blowing up the control rooms. It was fun.
And that was the cool thing about it. It wasn't mindless. You have objectives and things you had to do in the battle. It's not like just, take out all the enemies. No, you actually have to go and, take down their shields in order to, do an assault. It was really, really cool. Way ahead of its time, in my opinion.
No,
So-
I agree with that statement.
This was 2005 is when it came out, Skungy.
Yeah, I was right. I messed up, said 95, and then I corrected myself. You don't listen to me.
Jesus, Brian. Look, I'll give him a pass. He's been on the road for like 3 hours.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, he's been having a lot of fun this weekend.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at this. It was GameSpy technology that was the servers that were, and I'm like remembering the old GameSpy servers. That was kind of crazy. Yeah, you're right. All that stuff shut down.
Yeah, so, once again, it's free. And if you happen to miss out, like, this game's only going to be available free for, like, another maybe a week, because the way that Xbox does it, half the month, one game's free, and then half the month, another one. But even if you miss out on it, the game will only be $10.
That's still not bad. That's within Dave's cheap wheelhouse.
You're damn right it is. All right, well, good deal. I guess that was our price and platform. So it's not available for the dirty PC or our poor PlayStation brethren, though, right?
Well, that's true.
Well,
but
it technically is, because it hasn't left Steam for a while. So if you have a PC, you can play it on Steam. But you know what? It's just better to play with an Xbox controller.
Pirate Bay is still a thing, too.
I had it, back when I had my PS2, I think, is when it first came out.
Yeah, originally it was PS2 and original Xbox.
There we go.
All right, Skungy, we're in a good mood. We're not going to fire you.
Yeah, good job, buddy. Enjoy what's left of your Star Wars celebration, and go enjoy Game of Thrones tonight.
I certainly will.
All right, later, bro.
Guys, when we get back, we're going to have our great Cyphacon interview with Mr. Bruce Boxleitner. It was so great, and we were glad to have him. So, guys, stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Come Mini Collectors Con, April 27th at the Clarion in Covington. Toys, comic books, artists, games, and more. Meet special guest John Anderson from the MCU, Star Wars author Claudia Gray, and see over 13,000 square feet of toys and comics. All-day entertainment for only $5 at the St. Tammany Collectors Con, April 27th at the Clarion in Covington. Find out more information at facebook.com/St. Tammany Collectors Con. Join us. You'll be glad you did.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Belle Chase Highway today.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Like them on Facebook at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek Radio Show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO, and we are here at Cyphacon 2019, and I'm sitting with Bruce Boxleitner. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. Very, very good.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is if you look at say, your bio, and it talks about you being a leading man, but I wanted to ask you about that because in today's Hollywood, does that still apply? Is there still such a thing as a leading man?
Yeah, I think movie-wise, I would say first one that comes to mind, Bradley Cooper. I think he is, though he has done some character roles, but he's still basically a leading man in the classic sense. Maybe not so much anymore because every actor seems to be obsessed with wearing prosthetics and stuff and a fat pad, and I brings to mind Christian Bale, who I'm not criticizing him. He's a brilliant actor, but I think he could be more brilliant once in a while and just have something where he actually smiles.
Right.
He's so glum and he plays such downbeat characters. I think his choices are sometimes amazing, but I think there's he is a leading. He can be a leading man, and I think I see a lot of denial of that today in a lot of the younger actors, in that they want to be, for some reason they're thought to be more relevant or something if they're shave their head and have a comb over, and I'm thinking of him playing Dick Cheney and things like that. He's a great actor. I'd like to see more of just him instead of the prosthetics and the things. But that's him. I'm talking about movie actors. I prefer. I think you need to be that even more versatile. And once in a while, the ladies would like to see you be a charming leading man. Okay. Instead of some fat heavy or something. You know what I'm saying. I don't mean to say that, but but that's because it's just as hard. Cary Grant was a brilliant actor. It's just as hard being a leading man. They think there's nothing to it, but you're carrying it all. Everybody bounces off of you.
Oh, absolutely.
And but I understand also the theory that the better the villain, the better the hero in the piece becomes, because you got to have that much more of you got to rise to that occasion, you know.
We do love a good villain.
We do love a good villain. Yes, we do. And I just finished one on the Supergirl television series, so I just wrapped that up 2 weeks ago, and I'm done with that. It was fun while it lasted. It was very, very good.
Yeah, you mentioned there's one more episode coming out in the season wraps?
No, they're shooting it right now. They won't be on for a couple, they're on usually a couple weeks before, 3 weeks at least after an episode is shot, because you have all the post-production stuff to do. And so I don't know when the season ends for the audience, but it's the official wrap of the fourth season, I think, is tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 15th, correct? And yeah.
So you've had a long and storied career in Hollywood, doing so many great productions. What do you think about the current state of affairs right now? I mean, we've got all of these streaming options and stuff. A lot of the traditional aspects of the movie making industry have changed in recent years. What do you think?
First of all, we're not using film anymore. There's no such thing. So when you say filming, you're actually wrong. We're not filming anymore. We're digital. And so that I can't tell you how that streamlines a day's shooting, because you're not having to change canisters of film. You're not having suddenly you're going too long and you hear a it means you've got a roll out there. You've done the entire piece, and half your scene has now not been shot. So you have to start over again with a new reel of film. There's many things. All those things you mentioned, streaming and stuff, I think it's all good. I think right now, myself, I think television is in a very incredible place, actually more so than film, than movies or the theater. Not so excited about those. I think we're really in a dearth of good filmmaking. They're out there, a handful or two, but and I know probably there's a wrong audience, but I mean it seems that the only thing every actor now, young actor now, has to cut his teeth on being a superhero first. And now you see Benedict Cumberbatch. Here's a great example. My wife and I are huge fans of his. Sherlock was a great show. We've binged it a couple times. You can't get enough of it. And then he had to really make it. And the guy's been around for years, great Shakespearean actor, everything, British actor. But he had to become Doctor Strange to reach a certain audience. That's what you have to do now. Now, nothing wrong with that, but I think we need to have a little more than Marvel Comics in the movies.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And even though they're still cleaning up, I'd like to see it, frankly, better science fiction done. Comic books are not science fiction, and they're sort of, I think, in the minds of the young audience now, millennials think that that's what science fiction is. They're really not. They're comic books, and we've dressed them up to be. I'm talking about really good stuff, the kind that Ridley Scott used to do, and the really in-depth stuff that makes you have to really think. Instead of just eye candy and explosions, You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, I love the MCU. I love all the Marvel comic movies. Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan of all of that.
That's the thing now, and it's gonna run its course. Believe me, it will one day tire, like everything does.
Well,
I came in the age when westerns were still everything was a western. Television, 40-some series. Can you imagine? And that's what we grew up on, my generation. So now it's the comic book. My first superhero was Superman. Always will be. George Reeves. I used to leap from the couch onto another couch with a dish towel wrapped around my neck as though it was my cape, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Da-da. But then we had Batman with Adam West. I got to meet just before he passed away. That was a big thrill for me. And that Batman was such a spoof of the comics, And now it's huge. It's an amazing phenomenon. Marvel and DC. I've always been sort of a DC guy myself. Batman and Superman and so on. But it's just that's the Western of today. That's the one that's it's making all the money, and studios have to make these movies in order to afford other kinds of movies. Isn't that something what they call a tentpole?
Right.
Tentpole productions. They're holding up the studio financially.
Well,
Disney's the champion of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, you're talking about trends, and one of the big trends that we actually decry a lot on our show is this reboot culture of Hollywood. What do you think about that?
Not so excited about that. Are there no new ideas? Where's the imagination? It's too easy to take an older movie. I ought to know. Tron Legacy. And I've heard people say, well, the remake. I said, no, it's not a remake. It's a sequel. 28 years later, where are they now? Type of thing. Where are these characters? What's happened? And so that's okay. But when they're going to remake an original, that's a tough one. I would say you probably might agree that more times than not is successful as the original. You know what I'm saying? But it's the idea of the brand, the name, that they think is going to attract an audience. I think that we need to have more new ideas. There's more stories out there than repeating. What's a famous remake that was an absolute dud? Think of in film-wise, it was
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, the recent one, yeah. And a lot of this attempt to do hit television shows as hit movies. And they were hits when you did the Charlie's Angels. I guess that was somewhat successful way back when. But
I just saw that they're rebooting Charlie's Angels again.
Oh my God, why? Well, you know why? They've got a new generation of young actresses. They want a vehicle like that for them, to introduce them to the world. So it's pretty crazy.
Now, I did mention to somebody...
If you have a sequel, I will do it, or a remake. I'm still available. I don't hate them that much.
Now, I saw somebody recently, I mentioned that you were here, and and they were asking about Tron 3. Any words?
I don't know anything. I always get in trouble if I say anything. There's always the rumor out there.
Yeah.
The current rumor. So I don't really know. I mean, I've heard a little that there could be. I think the excitement about this light cycle ride may have inspired some more interest again. You know, Tron Legacy made probably a little less than $500 million, and that wasn't enough to keep it going.
That's sad when you can say $500 million.
Change to me, right. But you know, in the big scheme of things, it has to make so much more than it would cost to make, and to warrant another one. But another one was in the works, by the way, a couple of years back. They were going to go into pre-production. I was very excited about that, and then it didn't happen. I understand. It's business. It's show business, not show art. You know, it's a business thing, and no one does it better or bigger than Disney.
Yeah,
I have to say, they are amazing. When we did the original Tron, I was told no major star would work on that lot back then, 1980. Wouldn't work. They didn't have any success going. They were still doing those Herbie, the Love Bug movies, and the brother and the son-in-law of Walt Disney was running the studio, and there was a lot of discord, and that's why I admire them, because they took a chance on this young guy, Steven Lisberger, and this idea that he had, this concept that he had called Tron, and this new technology that was supposedly on the horizon, CGI, and very brave. And that's what was fun about doing the original Tron, is that we felt like we were doing a pioneering effort. Whether it was going to, don't know if we were going to succeed, but that's not the point of being a pioneer.
Right.
You're hoping for success, but you're trying to achieve it. If it doesn't, pioneers have failed, and then try again. You know.
Yeah, but we learn by failing, right?
Yeah, we learn by failing, and that one too came upon the audience. I came upon the critics and everything, and they were dismissive of it. Didn't really like it, and we're still doing. I'm selling pictures of Tron now. It's 35. It'll be almost 40 years before we know it since that movie came out, and that's quite amazing. I'm very proud of that. But I want to say to you is that there's always rumors, and I would say that right up. The first thing I would say is that it could be a rumor, but I think there is some rumblings. That's all I know.
All right, that's fair.
Rumblings about, they're still doing their live action, of their Disney classics. Dumbo just was released. They got other things coming out. Lion King is on the way. Lion King, and wasn't that just how many years ago?
Right.
But you could do a live action of that. So I think that's where they're putting their money. And then they also have Marvel, and they also have Lucasfilm. So maybe they'll squeeze us in somewhere.
Maybe so. So right now, you're just traveling. Right now, you're not working on any new projects, right?
No, I have nothing going on right now. I'm going to take a vacation with my wife this summer, and I haven't had one in a long time. But I'm going to, it's fine. Whatever comes along. I'm not right now working on anything. It's my own choice. That's the luxury of having a long career. I don't want to do it all the time.
Right.
There's other aspects of life I'd like to do, but I pursue some of my hobbies and things like that. So, it's all good. Supergirl I started that last July. I was originally hired for 6 episodes and wound up doing 10 out of 22. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Well, where can folks follow you on social media, keep up with
I have a Facebook page, Bruce Boxleitner, and I don't do too much social media. I've found it can be a very negative place.
At times, yes.
Yeah, it's too hard to go into. I used to be on Twitter, and I left. So I think they can find me on my Facebook page. I have a fan page, and I always post things of once in a while. But if I'm going to, especially about projects, if I'm going to be starting something, I like to do that. Or if I'm proud of one of my kids have done something, because they've all followed me into the business too in one aspect or another. And my son had just posted an Instagram photo. He's looking very, very macho. He's doing some movie, and I don't know what it was. My oldest son, Sam. But look at him here. He's playing a soldier in something. And There he is. That's my oldest boy, Sam, and everybody's saying, hey, you look like your old man back when. Well,
now he looks good.
Yeah. He's 38, almost 39 years old, so I don't know what movie. It's obviously on a soundstage somewhere. But anyway, very proud of these guys. So, and my youngest is in New York, wants to go the theater route, and he's up there living there and auditioning and things like that. That's what he started in. And my other son, Lee, is a writer, trying to get things sold. So it's a tough business.
Well, Mr. Boxleitner, I super appreciate the time that you spent with us today. And yes, and thanks.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
Come out to the St. Tammany Collectors Con April 27th at the Clarion in Covington. Toys, comic books, artists, games, and more. Meet special guest John Anderson from the MCU, Star Wars author Claudia Gray, and see over 13,000 square feet of toys and comics. All-day entertainment for only $5 at the St. Tammany Collectors Con April 27th at the Clarion in Covington. Find out more information at facebook.com/St. Tammany Collectors Con. Join us. You'll be glad you did. Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Pro Se Productions is a leading independent publisher on the cutting edge of new pulp and genre fiction today. At Pro Se Productions, you'll find fiction featuring fast-paced action and adventure, larger-than-life protagonists, over-the-top characters, and tight yet extravagant plots. Pro Se specializes in prose books, anthologies, audiobooks, and more. Go to prose-press.com to find our monthly release schedule and more info about our great titles. Pro Se Productions is your first-rate publisher of new pulp fiction today.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek. Don't forget, you can listen to previous episodes on the iHeartRadio app at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. Thanks for that voice, guy. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
Now, as always, we want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you miss any part of tonight's show, like that great interview with Bruce Boxleitner, or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app,
and your mama's house.
All right.
But first,
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future!
Yes! Oh my God!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, wow.
All right, Dave. This first one I put in here for us.
Oh,
it's
swell.
Yes, April 8th, 1981. Disc jockey Larry Norton ends a record-breaking continuous broadcast of 484 hours on radio station WGRQ-FM in Buffalo, New York, which began on March 19th. It was a little over 20 days.
Why?
Why not?
Why?
Records exist to be broken,
Oh
David.
my! What? 20 days?
20 days.
20 days. And wait, did he constantly speaking like he was filibustering?
Well, no. I mean, I'm sure he took naps in the studio in between.
Well, that's cheating.
What do you mean? I mean, it just his broadcast was on for 20 days. It set records. It's great.
That's crazy. I don't get it. That don't make no sense.
Look, I mean, I have faith in you. I think you could talk for 20 days.
That's the thing. Was it a talk show or was it a music jock?
No, he's a disc jockey.
Oh,
so
look, he talks for 90 seconds, and then he here's your next hit from Taylor Swift.
Right, exactly.
You know.
All right.
Good Lord, that's like a filibuster on crack, man.
Right,
no way.
Right.
What's next?
April 9th, 2004. Sees the premiere of Shaun of the Dead with directed by Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
That was such a great movie, man. And then they had Hot Fuzz after that, and there was a third one they did. It was like the trilogy.
The ice cream trilogy, yeah.
Yeah, they were going around all the pubs or whatever. Like forgot what it was.
Yeah,
that one was easily forgotten.
Right.
Shaun of the Dead, nothing tops that.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
So, well, of course, they got that movie we talked about. Was it last week? The Dead? It's got Kylo Ren in it going, ghouls, man, ghouls.
Oh, yeah.
With Bill Murray, and I forgot what the hell it was called.
Yeah.
It was funny, though.
No, it was good.
That might rival Shaun of the Dead if they have a Queen song in it.
Was it The Dead Don't Die or something?
Something like that. The Dead Don't Die. I think that's what it is.
All right. Next on my list, April 10th, 1997. Wizards of the Coast announced the purchase of TSR, the cash-strapped makers of Dungeons & Dragons.
Wah, 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 wah. I don't know. They've done pretty good, though. I mean, of course, they've given us 3 iterations of crap. I think the final one is actually okay.
Yeah,
I started trying to learn it.
But WotC, of course, was bought out by Hasbro.
Yeah.
The real geek question, Dave, is what does TSR stand for? Do you know?
Trans-Siberian Returners. I don't know.
It's Tactical Simulations Research.
What's SSR? That was the video game arm of it, huh? Like Strategic Simulations something.
Yeah.
Because it had like Fantasy General or Iron General. It had a whole bunch of the General series. Like Fantasy General was like the first game that was like turn-based tactical. It was like a board game. And dude, it was so awesome. Like you had to have, I found an old copy, but I had to install a DOS shell on my laptop to play that damn game.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how old school that was, man.
Well, speaking of old school, my next item, April 11th, 1976. The Apple I, an early personal computer designed and hand-built by Steve Wozniak, is released at a price of $666.66.
What is he, the devil, man?
Apparently, this shows you that Apple is the devil, and I've been, decrying them all this time, right?
Uh-huh.
Go Android.
Sure. Well, he's got 2 extra 6s that didn't need to be in there. So, whatevs.
This next one...
is that the one he built in his garage?
Yeah. This next one makes me think of Ready Player One, April 12th, 1985. And let's see if you can guess it. It was directed by Richard Donner, starring Matthew Broderick, Rutger Hauer, and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Matthew Broderick. Lady Hawk.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, that was... I just saw that. It was like on some crappy-ass cable channel. That's the only reason I knew it.
Yeah,
holy crap!
And if I'm not mistaken, in the book, what was it? H gave Artemis a whole lot of heck for not Artemis, but Parzival for liking this movie so much.
What was the one with the dude? He had blonde hair. He was Vigo. You are the buzzing of flies to me. He was in that movie where he fought a dragon.
Oh, Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer.
Oh,
yeah. I was thinking about that one at first, but then Rutger Hauer's not in that.
You're right. Vigo was the.
That
Dragon
was Vigo.
Slayer. Wow.
You are like the buzzing of flies to him.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait.
You are like the buzzing of flies to him.
Of course. All right. This last one on my list, April 14th, 2008. Premiering in Sydney on this date, this movie is directed by Jon Favreau, starring Robert Downey Jr., Terrence Howard, Jeff Bridges, and Gwyneth Paltrow.
It's Titanium Man.
No.
Stilt Man. Whirlwind.
No.
Oh,
Iron Man.
That was Iron Wars.
No.
What did they call it? Did they call it Iron Wars? No.
No, Iron Man. Come on.
No, I'm thinking about the comic book series, though, where everybody stole Stark Tech and the brother had a freaking Iron Man suit.
I think that was a crossover, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Iron Wars.
Yeah.
And then he had to go around taking all of his technology back from people.
Yeah.
So that was a good series.
But it's just kind of cool, we're getting close to
And Favreau, he's doing The Mandalorian, which we talked about at the beginning of the show.
Yep, absolutely. All right, you ready for some birthdays?
Sure.
All right. On the 8th, Robin Wright Penn, of course, Princess Buttercup.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Also, A House of Cards. That was pretty brutal. On the 9th, Dennis Quaid. On the 10th, after all this Star Wars news, Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
On the 11th, Tricia Helfer from number 6 from Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
Yes. On the 12th, J. Scott Campbell. He's a comic book artist for Wildstorm, Marvel, and the video game industry. And on the 13th, Ron Perlman.
Hey, all right.
Yes. So,
if you need an ugly guy for an ugly part, Ron's your guy.
Right.
All right, guys. Don't forget, like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, Instagrams. It's all The Week in Geek. Not this. The.
Yes.
The. THE. Should we say the or the? Like, is that like a Southern thing or just lazy?
The Week in Geek.
Week in Geek.
Yes.
Potato. The.
Right.
What we got next week? I see you looking at your phone.
Yes, I am.
You were. I was trying to delay.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you. I appreciate that. If I can get my calendar to cooperate here.
Stupid Android phone.
Oh, come on.
Get it together, you lame-ass Android.
It's May Lohmeyer from the New Orleans Public Library is going to stop by.
Cool.
They got a lot of fantastic stuff coming up, and we're going to talk to her about it.
Good deal.
Yes.
All right. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Your radio home for the Pels is News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.